Hello. I hope you have created your first Scratch app and you have enjoyed programming in Scratch. Now, let's build on this simple Scratch app and let's develop a slightly more complex app. Okay, as you have seen that we have just used one code block, and this code block moves the sprite the specified number of steps forward. Okay, so well, I mean, let's edit it and let's double click it or run the code many times. You see the sprite has moved and is not entirely visible now. So let's add another code block that brings it back, okay, to a position where we want it to be. Okay, but before that, let me show you one thing. Please keep on observing the values of x and y in this rectangle that I just drew. Let's just okay. As I move the mouse, you can see the values of x and y inside that red rectangle that I just drew. They are changing. Actually, these x and y values are the x and y coordinates of the point where my mouse is at a particular point in time, right? So at this point in time, and where my mouse pointer is, the value of x is minus 218 and the value of y is 4. Now it's very important to get these values, because if we want to move our sprite to a particular point, then we'll have to specify the x and y coordinates of that point. Okay, so let's say we want to move our sprite to this point where my cursor is right now. Uh, You can see here x is minus 164 and y is 16. So let's make it x is equal to minus 165 and y equal to 15. But is there any code block that moves our sprite to a specified point? Yes, luckily we have one. This is called go to code block. So I'll drag and drop it in the workplace, and you see we have to change the values of x and y. And if you remember, the value of x at our desired point was minus 165 and the value of y was 15. Okay, now if I double click this code block, you can see that the sprite has moved back to the point where we wanted it to be. Okay, now by clicking this move block, the sprite will move forward. Okay, but whenever we want to take it back to the specified point, then we will run this code block or run this code by double clicking it, and you see the sprite has moved back to that starting point. Okay, so let's add a few more blocks. Okay, you have observed that we have placed these two code blocks, but they are not combined. Okay, they are two different blocks and we have to run them separately. We will make we will combine them and develop a program Let's see how will we do it. Now I'll teach you how to add another type of code blocks, which is events. I'll click on the event category and you will see a number of uh, code blocks here. Okay, so uh, I mean, instead of double clicking this code block, it's more intuitive that whenever you press a key from your keyboard, say space key or some arrow key, then the sprite moves. That program will be more intuitive and better. Okay, so luckily we have a code block that does exactly that, and this is when space key pressed. So let's drag and drop it, and this time we have combined or joined these two code blocks. So let's see what this code is doing. When space key pressed, so this is you see this category is events. So when this event takes place or when space key is pressed, then move 50 steps. So whenever we will press space key, this sprite will move 50 steps forward. Let's try the code by double clicking it. Now you can double click at any place, whether on the upper code block or on the lower code block. These two code blocks are joined, so it will be treated as one unit. Okay, so that means that first of all, this first code block will be run, and then this second code block. So in fact, we have added an event. Now we don't need to double click it. Okay, we have added an event. That means that whenever a space key pressed, so we don't need to double click this unit. Okay, so we simply click space bar from the keyboard, that I'm doing now, and you can see that the sprite is moving forward, forward, forward. Okay, now if we want to bring the sprite back, simply double click this. You see the sprite is back at the starting point. Now to make the program a bit more intuitive, so let's add another event which takes the sprite back to the starting position. Okay, so let's add another event. Let's add another code block. When this flag is clicked, then go to this point. That means whenever this flag will be clicked, the sprite will go back to this point. And this flag is, you can see it's here. Okay, so uh, let's run the program, and this time we don't need to double click the code blocks. Okay, because we have added events, so therefore we will simply press the appropriate key from the keyboard or click on the appropriate icon, right? So I'll first press space from the space bar from the keyboard, and you see that the sprite is moving forward. Okay, now when I click this icon, and you see we have programmed it that whenever this icon is clicked, the sprite must get back to this point. So let's click it, and you see the sprite is back at the starting position. So this is a much better program, a much better app. So hopefully you have enjoyed it. Now we can make our program even more better. I mean, we can build on what we have constructed, what we have developed so far into a game. Why not add another sprite? Okay, and after adding another sprite, why not have a race between the two sprites? Okay, I mean, when space key is pressed, then this sprite moves 50 steps. So, let's first add another sprite. You can add another sprite by clicking on this icon. And you see there are various categories, and let's choose an animal as the second sprite. Let's choose this dinosaur. You see the second sprite is added. Okay. You see when I click this sprite, then from here, then the code corresponding to this sprite will appear in the workspace. When I click this sprite, then the code corresponding to this dinosaur second sprite will appear here, because we haven't added any code as yet, so there is nothing visible here. Okay, so I'll just show you a few things that you can change the key when space key. Instead we add up arrow. So when up arrow key is pressed, then this cat or sprite 1 will move 50 steps forward. Now I'm pressing space keyboard and nothing is happening now. But when I press the up arrow key, the sprite is moving forward. Okay. So this is how, you can edit it. You can change the key. You can change this event. The key from the keyboard, which is when pressed, then the sprite will move. Now your homework is to build on this project into a game, a racing game, where these two sprites will race with each other, and you will definitely the code for both sprites is quite similar. You just have to change the key, the event. I mean, when an up arrow is pressed, then this cat is moving, and when some other keys, suppose a space bar is pressed, then this dinosaur is moving, right? So you see, two people can play this game. One will keep on pressing the arrows, and the first player's avatar will be this cat or sprite one, and whenever the first player will press up arrow, then the cat will move forward, and the second player's avatar will be this dinosaur sprite 2, and whenever the second player will press space bar, then this dinosaur will move forward, and there will be a race between the two. Okay, so this is your homework assignment, so please complete this, and don't forget to share it. And how you will share it, let me show you. Share this project. Okay, but before sharing, you need to save. Although scratch id automatically saves, and you can see it's written saved, so that means the program that we have developed so far is already saved. We haven't explicitly saved it, but the scratch id automatically saves it. But you can save it explicitly by clicking on file and save now. Okay, so after saving it, you can share this project. Okay, by sharing this project, other scratchers or other people developing scratch programs can see your program, and please keep in mind that they can edit your they can change, they can remix your program. They can build on what you have done to develop a different program or a more complex program. So and in the same way, you can also remix a scratch project that someone else has shared. By remixing, you can uh, change someone else's project, right? Okay, but by changing the I mean, when someone will remix your project, then your original project will not be changed. Okay, they will remix. That means that they will save another copy of your project and they will change that. So that changed product or remixed project will be saved as another copy. Your original product will not be harmed. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now I'm clicking share, and you see your project is shared. Okay, and please keep in mind that uh, in this URL, in the URL or address bar of your browser, you will see the URL of your shared project. Okay, so for this units assignments, please copy the URL uh, that will be in the address bar of your browser, and you have to paste it on the discussion forum for this unit's scratch project. Okay, I hope you will enjoy your assignments this week. Thank you very much.